Good morning. Thank you for joining us for Community Connections, Resources, and Gardening. This is Quandra Gaines. Um, we're having a little technical difficulty. Hold on. Hi, this is Quandra Gaines from Community Connections, Resources, and Gardening. I hope that you each had a wonderful Thanksgiving, had time to reflect, spend time with family, and even spend time with yourself. Um, my Thanksgiving, I had a very small but uh, worthwhile Thanksgiving with my kids, with my adult children, and it was fantastic. Looking at them as adults has been quite different for me because I've been just mom and they've just been my babies. But it was interesting to talk with my daughter, um, talk with her friend, her significant other, her partner, um, and begin to look at different things that has happened to me, has happened to her, and begin to have conversations to break generational curses that exist in our family. So this Thanksgiving has been one of those things where I've actually had time to reflect on family, reflect on myself, begin to look at my goals and aspirations, and make be intentional in making plans for myself, for my family, for my personal growth, and for my professional growth. Um, how did you spend your Thanksgiving? You can leave your comments in the chat, and we will show them. Um, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, not only on reflection, but also did you celebrate Thanksgiving the way that your parents did, or do you deviate and make your own traditions? The reason why I ask that is because most time people celebrate Thanksgiving on Thursday, but a lot of my colleagues and friends and family, some of them did gatherings on Thanksgiving, but today they will be celebrating. Yesterday we're celebrating Thanksgiving to make adjustments and time, a lot of time that they could spend family time with um, individuals outside and inside of their family. And they broke Thanksgiving as it's seen, which is usually the last Thursday of the month. So, did you do that? Did you change, deviate from Thanksgiving being on a Thursday and change the dinner until Friday or today, Saturday? I mean, I know there are a lot of people who did that today. I plan to join a friend for Thanksgiving dinner tonight. Um, Another thing is during the holiday, do you practice self care? Do you take time for you? Do you do activities that interest you, that separate you from being just a mother, but being an individual? If so, what things do you do? Well, there are some things that I would advise that you do is you create your own system. Spend time with your family, be intentional in spending time alone with yourself, by yourself each day. I would say that you need to prioritize your activities that make you happy. A lot of times, as mothers, as women, we always seem to try to make others happy and leave ourselves last. Well, I ask you to reverse that. I ask you to make yourself happy first. And as a result of you being happy, you'll be able to prioritize and allot time for people in your circle or outside your circle, and still be intentional in making your own self happy. So I always say to myself every day, I meditate, I read books, um, I do something creative. At this time, I'm doing indoor gardening, where I'm pretty much doing tomatoes. I have tomatoes in my kitchen, peppers, basil, mint, um, cilantro. They're growing in my kitchen, in my downstairs bathroom. I have greens, lettuce, peppers, jalapeno peppers, and a lot of different things. And as a result, that makes me happy. I love plants. Um, I love greenery. I love things that have a purpose. And in my life, things have to have a purpose. Um, I got to learn how to grow a spice that I did not know that I would be able to have access to. And so far, it's been doing really well. Um, I also had an opportunity to do an activity that I wanted to do with seniors, and I'm developing that right now because I would like to do a project where I could go and teach a person or help a person do their garden. It's still in the beginning stages, but I will keep you posted on that. The next thing is with the holiday season coming up, we just had Black Friday, and people are going to be out shopping. There are some safety tips that I would like to share with you because a lot of times when we're out here shopping, we're not paying attention. We're just pretty much beelined or narrow minded, zoned out, tunnel vision to get the things that we want for our families or our friends. And during that time, you can actually be a victim of street robbery, carjacking, and even like when you're not paying attention, you fall victim to anything. So I'm a part of a group called the Northeast Leaders, and um, our president actually gave us a list of things to share with us, to share with others during this holiday season. So one of the things that we are victim of is that we don't check our cars. So when we go out, we're going shopping, we're so excited about the sales that we forget to lock our car. And when you don't lock your car, two things can occur. One is that you'll go out into the parking lot and you won't have a car, or you could be a victim of kidnapping or assault because somebody can get into your car, and because we don't always check our cars before we get in, um, something of violence can happen. The next thing is become familiar with the different things that you need to do when you're experiencing a carjacking. You need to be aware of your surroundings. So before you jump into your car, there's been so many different things about cars being tagged, um, letting people know if there's a woman in the car, and they'll put zip ties and all kinds of stuff on your car. One of the things a friend of mine was telling me is that she drove home with the zip tie. She actually went into her car on the passenger side and was able to leave. And then when she got home, her boyfriend was able to take a picture, involve the police, and then clean the material off, because they're having all kinds of things that can be on your car, that something could happen where you could put it on your face or something, pass out, and next thing you know, you're a victim. Another thing is be mindful of deliveries this season. Food deliveries, package deliveries, because you have so many people impersonating UPS drivers, impersonating BGE employees, impersonating different people who work for companies that we use, or like for utilities, etc. And one of the things I've learned is I'm not one of those people that will open the door. I have a security system that lets me know that there's someone at the door. I can actually talk to them inside my home without even having interaction, ask them for their ID, those things. Also, when you're getting food deliveries, before you put your food or different appliances or whatever you're buying, bottled goods, etc., please wash them off, wipe them off with vinegar and water. Reason why I'm saying that is because there could be things that people can be putting on your food items. And do you wash your vegetables when you first get them? Do you soak them and do you spray them down or soak them with vinegar and water? Do you? Because if you don't, anything that was passed on from the store to your home, when you do, sometimes it can be a film, like with the apples. This is the time for you to wash your vegetables, wash your fruits, and then store them in a safe container that you're aware of. It's very important for that as well. There are times when when you're in a process of, or you're feeling that when you're at the gas station and you're running out of your car and you're not really thinking, my kid is in the car, my mother's in the car, my car is open. That's a pretty good opportunity for someone who's looking for a car to carjack you. So utilize some of these practices, utilize common sense. I know sometimes that cannot be common, especially during the holidays, but be mindful of where you are, who you're with, and understanding what's going on in your surroundings. The next thing for holiday shopping tips, one of the things that a lot of times we forget that when we're out here shopping from mall to mall and store to store, be mindful not to leave your purchase items, your gifts, visible in your car. Place them in a trunk, cover them up with a blanket or some other object, because that would make you more visible to a person who is out to do something bad or out to steal something. You're just pretty much giving them an inventory of what you bought. Also, try not to carry a large amount of cash on you. Use your debit card, use a check to make purchases. Why? Because when you have a large amount of cash, you're much more, it's a lot easier for someone when they do come at you. What can you do? They're going to take your money. When shopping in the evening hours, park in a well-lit area, in the mall, in a store. Why? Because it provides you with, it makes you more aware of your surroundings. It makes you much more visible to others. So if something was to occur, you're going to be able to have witnesses, etc. Also, too, it is very important when you lose your credit card, debit card, credit card, that you call your credit card, debit card person, company right then and there immediately. Because if not, most times people are not just stealing a debit card. They have your PIN number. So if you're able to do that, you can record your purchases, the last few purchases, and then the card can be put on hold. I always say, if you're going to go shopping, have somebody with you. It's always great to shop with someone else. Avoid shopping alone if you can. I mean, during the day, but if you can, please let people know where you are. It's just a safety precaution. One of the things also, if you're not home, let's say you're working and you know that you're going to be getting deliveries, this is the time to designate a place where you can have your purchases dropped off, deliveries dropped off, or to designate a pickup location that you can go and pick up your packages. Also, make sure that you're aware of all of your surroundings. It is very imperative that you be mindful of any suspicious activities, any kind of, if you feel it in your gut, trust it. And then get to a safe place and call the police. Never leave your purse. I know I used to, when I would go to the store for my grandmother, she'd leave her purse right into the cart and just go walking around to get whatever item she was. Well, that's because she had a trust factor with the store and the employees. But never leave your wallet, never leave your purse unattended for any amount of time. That means if you're having guests in your home, put it up. If you're in the store, I always say carry less, carry your debit card, carry what you need in the store. This way, you're not worried about things being missing, picked up, etc. Try not, I know it's going to be hard during this holiday season, but try not to overload yourself with a whole lot of packages that you yourself have to make frequent trips from the store to your car. Now, there are some stores in which you can get, you can take your car from the store to your car, but this will not make you more visible to a person who's out there doing bad things, but it will make you to discipline yourself that when you go to a particular store, you're not overloading yourself, which means people are going to come up to you and try to, well, can I help you? I'm not saying that most people are not with good intentions, but if you're overloading yourself, you're going to be struggling to your car, which means you're not going to be paying attention to your surroundings, which means you're going to be more prone to become a victim. Also, the last thing would be mindful of what ATMs you're using. Because if you go to a store that you've never been, you don't know if they have those, you don't know what their practices are as far as their ATMs, how they're used, because there is this machine that has been on ATMs in various stores, and they're taking your information. My advice to you would be to utilize ATMs in highly populated areas. Why? Because one, you're going to be aware of your surroundings. Two, I would always use a machine that you're familiar with, an ATM machine you're familiar with. Why? Because fraud. There's crime everywhere. Not saying that yes, it is. It's everywhere. It's just an opportunity for someone to use you as a victim, use you as their cash cow. Because if you're not mindful of where you're with, who you're with, and where you're going, a lot of times things happen, not intentionally. It's just an opportunity. Another thing I wanted to talk about is over the holiday, are you taking time for self, but are you taking time to expand your mind, utilize time to read? Have you ever thought of creating a book club where you, your friends, your colleagues can go and pick a book and read it? Have discussions, healthy discussions, some really intelligent discussions, your viewpoints about the book, etc. It brings camaraderie. It creates another safe space where it could be with women, it could be with both men and women, it could be with your family. And it just builds a bond. You get to hear other people's viewpoint, and you get to expand your mind. So since I've been pursuing my PhD, and I have been reading a lot of books. I mean, a lot of books. However, I have been also carving out time for myself to read. I think as you get older, as I get older, I appreciate more authors more, because when I was in undergrad, etc., we're just reading books just to get through the class, get through your degree. Some books took you took a little more time with, you put it into your library. So some of the books that I'm reading right now, I have been on this Toni Morrison journey for the last 30 years. She is one of those people that does not always have a happy ending in her books. And I can appreciate that because it's more realistic. There are happy endings in our lives, but there are some that are not. So the first book that I'm reading is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Phenomenal book. I'm rereading it again. It is not one of those books that you can come in and be intellectual. It is a book that you're going to have to sit still. You're going to have to take your time. You may have to walk away from this book because it is some things in here that is very deep. But I recommend this book because it's going to make you a better person when you finish reading this book. The next book, it's another book from Toni Morrison, called Beloved. Now, I read this book as a result when my daughter was younger. She loves reading. All my kids love reading. This book, it was made into a movie with Oprah Winfrey, and it was great. Don't get me wrong, but the book is very deep. I read this book with my daughter while she was reading in school, and I always did that with my children when they were in school. Whatever books they were reading in school, I would read that book in addition to whatever book I was reading at the time. And as a result, there was relationships in this book that made me really intentional about looking at generational curses in my family that have been passed down, looking at what family really means. Does it always include just blood relatives, or can you create your own family? What trauma really is, because a lot of us have had trauma, experienced trauma in our lives. Sometimes we don't realize why we do things. Looking at the different roles that family members have played in your life, whether it's been negative or positive. Having true, genuine, honest conversations with my children when that something was not really exercised in my own family. What it means to be a woman, a young lady in my family. My experiences were quite different than other family members. Looking at me right now, I have some strong ties with some relatives when I don't have any with others. And at one time I used to beat myself up for that. And it's okay. For me, I want to continue to live and exist in a very positive, intentional, purposeful space. I don't want to be around negativity. Some things I can't control, but others in which I can. There are family members that I haven't seen in years, in decades. And at one time I was beating myself up for it. Because I was able to create my own family, create my own family, externally and internally. I was able to control the narrative in my life. Unfortunately, as children, we can't control the narrative. We can't control the behaviors, the actions of adults when we're kids. We really can't. We're basically, I come from a generation that children were to be seen and not heard. I was born in the later 60s where things were changing. women, African American women, they were actually seen positively. I mean, we had some really powerful women that were out here doing a lot of wonderful things, just like now. However, I have had to go back and reflect. The quadrant I am now, with all the bumps and bruises and different things and successes and failures and all those different things, would I have been the same Quandra as I am now today, or would I have been somebody different? Would I be a woman of confidence, or would I be a woman of negativity, of strife, of maliciousness? Um, that's a good reflection. And I've been working on that. Um, those who do know me, I'm very passionate about people, community. Um, I have wonderful work ethics, and I do care for the unseen, the people who are the undesirables. I've always worked with what we would say were the undesirables, who wind up being one of the most profound people in my life. Why? Because they were real. They weren't fake. They didn't have a facade. Just like being here on Black USA News, a lot of my colleagues, my Black USA News, Be More News family, are very true, very compassionate, very loving towards community, towards people. Um, they are not judgmental of the average Joe or even the richest Joe or Sarah or whoever. The thing is that there are some really, truly gifted, intentional, purposeful, the most realist people that I have met and have the opportunity to meet, um, because they've lived life. They've seen people for who they really are, and they are going to advocate and fight for people's rights, people's benefits, people's existence. Why? Because each and every one of us has a purpose on this earth, in my opinion. We have a purpose on this earth. One, to treat each other with respect. We don't have to always agree. It's okay to disagree. Um, a lot of times I think that during this holiday season, we seem to create a facade. There are some relatives that we do not want to see, and then there are some relatives that we love to be around. Why is that person that we don't want to see, that we don't want to share memories with, that we ostracize? Why do we do that? There are so many people out here hurting because they were ostracized by their family, the very people that were supposed to be their safe space. So on this Thanksgiving, I had to sit back and look at people that I have in my life and people that I don't have in my life, and the reason for it. There are some people that are in my life that I'm still questioning why they're in my life. Um, but then there are some people in my life that I have learned to learned from, gotten to know, and appreciate their viewpoints, appreciate their wisdom, like Donnie Glover, Mike Haney. I'm actually learning a lot from Yolanda and Chad. It's so many. Erica. I'm learning a lot of different things about getting my swag back from Erica. But it's like so many amazing people on Black USA News that we don't get to see each other every day, but we still play a huge role in each other's life. And one of the reasons why I'm saying that is because if you love the content, the time, these people are giving up their time to provide shows that have an impact, that show a true and genuine love for people of the global majority. You know, we can say blacks, we can say people of color, but we are people. There are more black and brown in this whole entire continent and all the different continents. We are people of the global majority. And Black USA News celebrates people of the global majority. And for that, I want to thank Donnie Glover for stepping out and creating a space of brilliance, of self love, of integrity. And it is amazing to be in this space, especially at this time of my life. Because at one time, you know, we're always bustling, hustling, and trying to get things done to make sure our family's good, make sure our mortgages is paid, making sure that we can bring a safe space for our families to thrive, a safe place where we can express our love and gratitude and respect for our children. I think sometimes there's some kind of viewpoint that children are not supposed to be, are only supposed to be seen and not heard. Okay, I can understand in certain settings, yes, if you're an adult conversation, I think that before you have company, you should need to create a space where your children can be children. But as they get older, we need to have those conversations. We need to have those conversations where we are really sitting down and looking at and listening, not really responding, which has been hard for me, especially with my adult children. To sit back and listen without responding. You can learn a lot from your children, especially your adult children, well, all your children, but especially your adult children, because they don't necessarily need you anymore. They do, but they don't, because they have their own life. They have their own experiences. They have their own self-worth. So this journey in my mid-50s has been quite interesting. And it gets even better, especially during a holiday, because I'm in a different space, I would say a different level of love for my daughter, a different level of respect for my daughter and my sons. It's amazing. It's hard, but it's amazing. It is very amazing. It's wonderful to see each and every one of them grow in their own greatness. My daughter's a teacher, but she's also an artist. She's also a visual artist. She does a lot of social media. She does a lot of different things with the community. And to see my son, who does a lot of art, and he's very savvy with the computer, and he's very into electronics and really developing his own business. My quiet storm, who is drawing and really doing a self-inventory of who he is and what he wants and things of that nature. This is what Thanksgiving means to me. It's actually viewing and seeing and enjoying and encouraging self-love for my kids, because we're getting hit with so many different types of negativity, saying that if you're a Black woman and you're ambitious and you're assertive and you have goals, that you're an angry Black woman, you do not want a man in your life. Well, that's not true. If you are in a professional field and you want more for yourself, and you've decided that you're prioritizing your life to get the things that you need for yourself before you go on to share with someone else, or if you're dating someone or in a relationship with someone or you're married, you begin to have different levels in that relationship. You begin to learn more and more about each other as you grow together. It's quite profound to me to see the brilliance of the many youth that I've been able to be a part of their lives. And as they develop into teenagers and young adults and even adults, um, it was kind of hard for me to not have them not depending on me. It's great to have my feedback, but they don't really need it. So in doing that, I'm learning about their independence. I'm learning about their love, their dreams, their aspirations, their goals, and what they want their life to be. I didn't learn that from my family, the ones that I was born. I didn't learn that with my family. I learned that with my extended family. I learned how to deal with so many different things with my extended family, the ones that I met over the years in different phases and different aspirations and different, doing so many different levels. And for that, I thank my family. I thank both families. Um, my goal for this year that we be just celebrating the holiday, Thanksgiving holiday weekend. I've been intentional in just sitting back, journaling, the different acts, behaviors, the different voices, the different mannerisms that I was exposed to as a child. The profound people. My grandma, very strong. Both grandmothers, very strong, very loving, very sure of themselves. They were very creative, uh, encouraging, but they also were strong disciplinarians um, that I could see with in my life. Their strength, their confidence, their integrity in a world where they grew up, which was not always accepting um, and responsive to the needs of African American women. Here I am in a evolution with what I perceive, what I view as family. It has been a journey for me. It has been a hard journey for me. Um, there are some things, there are some people that I probably will never talk to again. And I'm fine with that. I have learned to appreciate people for who they are, good, bad, or indifferent. And this holiday season has been one of the greatest holidays ever for me, um, because I'm at a whole different stage in my own life. I'm seeing the different stages of my own children, my adult children's lives. And as we go through our own separate journeys, just making sure that we are in tune, appreciative, respectful, loving, attentive, passionate, and compassionate towards each other. It is important for me and my family to evolve as individuals, but also as a family. It's a joy to see that I am here in this space and I am able to see my children as adults. Uh, I look forward, God willing, to be a grandmother in another space. No pressure for my children, but and that through that, having a healthy relationship with each one of my children and their offspring and their children and their children. Um, I've found I have accepted that it is okay. It is okay not to have a relationship with everyone in my family. I have had to go through an evolution myself of forgiving myself for other people's behavior towards me as a child, as a teenager, and as an adult. And as a result, I'm a better person for that. So on this holiday season, I hope that everyone has a true, deep down reflection of what it is that you would like to leave as a legacy for your family, for your children. And then begin to have conversations with your children about what it is that they're feeling, that they're experiencing, that they are challenged with. Because a lot of times, what we don't really realize is that things that were passed down to us by our family members, how women treat men in our family, how men treat women in our family, how certain types of men are, how certain types of men are viewed, treated in our family, how women who have a mind of their own, who have are very independent, are treated in the family versus the norm. Um, I was very intentional that my children were independent. They had an independent thought, and it was okay. They knew that they could be anything they wanted to be, and still now they can be whatever they want to be. Yes, I was a strict parent, but yet I also learned to listen without response. Even though I may not have agreed, even though I may not have experienced any of the things they may have experienced, yet I am so very proud of all three of my kids. I not only love them, but I actually like them as individuals, as adults. So as I begin the holiday season with Thanksgiving, and I'm looking forward to Christmas, and I'm looking forward to the new year, it takes a level, there is a requirement that each of us evolves and grows and purges and evolves and it grows and it's just like a repeated cycle. Um, Now I'm actually beginning to know Quandra as not just the mother of Maya Ann and Kennedy, but Quandra, the individual, the person that I met many years ago, and now I'm reuniting now. So on this note, I challenge everyone to think about Black USA News, Be More News, when you're looking to donate or be a part of, um, patronize this Black Youth Network. Um, we're actually going to be celebrating Be More News' 20th anniversary on December the 10th at Nancy by Sink. You can actually RSVP at blackpressmatters.eventbrite.com. You can actually donate on that site. With Giving Tuesday coming up next week, I think that, well, not only do I think, I know that is imperative that if you believe in youth having a voice, understanding their voice, if you believe in women of the global majority having a voice, having a presence, making an impact, and being purposeful, then I advise you to support Black USA News, where you're going to get real talk about Black lives, Black experiences, Black media. You're going to get an opportunity to not only see yourself, but see your children. Support activities and platforms like this, because if we can't celebrate each other, we can't respect and encourage one another, then does Black lives really matter? If we don't first start to make changes within our Black community, really focus on mental health, really focus on different traumas that have happened in our life and seeking that help so that we can be examples for our future generations, so that we can be their voice and they be our voice. We can work together to work out all these different prejudicious, discriminatory behaviors that we have within our own race. So on this Thanksgiving holiday, I've learned to accept, to understand what my actual prejudices are against my own race, against other races. And as a result, I was able to understand why certain things were actually existed. I actually got to see what the origin of those thought processes were. I actually got to have a conversation with my daughter that I'm still thinking about. I'm looking at how talk is great, but action is better. Looking at things that I've had to do, jobs that I've had to take in order to put food and a roof over my children's head, mine and my children's head. So things that I accepted at one phase of my life that I don't accept now. So this Thanksgiving holiday, I challenge everyone to begin to examine, investigate, really look at the relationships that you have with family members, with your children. Why is it that one child just rubs you the wrong way where others don't? Why is it that it's so much easier for us to kick some to the curb and not really have a relationship with them at all? And then those that we do gravitate and put them on a pedestal and grow with, have a relationship with. So on that note, I want to thank you for joining us for Community Connections, Resources, and Gardening. I want to share some other books that I'm reading that you can check out. One is Coming of Age in the Other America. One book that I bought recently, The Black Butterfly. I have actually been really by Dr. Lawrence T. Brown. This book is very, very good. The next one I'm going to be reading next is Thinking Body, Dancing Mind. I got this book from an intern that I had who wound up being a friend and now a family member. Very good book. The next book is $2 a Day, Living on Almost Nothing in America. Very good book. Very, very, very good book. Very, very good book. And that is by Catherine Eden and Luke Schaefer. This book has been very, very, very interesting to me. It's called Everyday Bias by Howard J. Ross. Deep book. I'm rereading it. Also, to the books of all things, Unapologetically Black by Danny Glover. I read this in one sitting. Very good book, very profound. I would advise you to go on Amazon and you can actually get this. But the book of all is I Am Black Wall Street. This book has been like major. I've learned so much about history, African American history, learning that there are Black Indians and how freedom, what freedom really is, the history, the heroes, the sheroes of this book. You can also get this book on Amazon. So one of the things is some of these books is each book that I read has a major component in my development, in my education, as well as in my own evolution as a woman, as a mother, as a professional, and as a student. So have a wonderful, safe holiday weekend. I hope that you do something special for yourself, by yourself, with family. Really dig deep into many of the cores and behaviors that you don't like about yourself or you don't know where you got it from. This is a great time to begin to work on these things before the new year begins. I'm not one of those people who make New Year's resolutions. I work on myself throughout the year, and then there are some various goals or things that I would strive towards. I'm not going to say that they're resolutions. I think that they're a work in progress. Go out and check out Baltimore City. There's so many beautiful things down at the Inner Harbor. I mean, I plan to go out there today. There's just so many beautiful things in our city. So many different shops and businesses that are like booming and downtown Baltimore. Go out and support. Really go out and support those businesses. Shop in their stores. Patronize them. Because those are the very people who will hire people that we consider undesirables. They will hire the gentleman or the woman coming out of the correctional facility. So patronize those entrepreneurs, patronize those businesses. Celebrate being a Baltimorean. Love your city. Yes, we have some things out here that's going on that we just don't understand. But if you don't understand it, figure out if you're your skills, your talents, your passion can be can play a role in changing some of the things that are going on in our city. And that's what I feel that Black USA News, Be More News is doing. We're giving a different perspective. We love our city. We love our state. I challenge each and every one of you to show your love to this city and this state by being proactive in volunteering at Big Addy or Men and Family Center or The Doors or McElderry Park Community Association or CARES Association or Johnston Square. Be present, be active in your community, because when you're active in your community and you're doing the work, your children, your grandchildren, the children in the community are seeing that they too play a role in how their community is viewed, how their community flourishes, how their community works. They begin to take on traits of wanting to be a part of the community, having a voice by going out and voting, having a voice by building, developing, and creating a business that will empower others in their community, empower people, empower seniors. Check out and check on seniors in the community. Check on seniors and in the senior citizens, senior centers. This is a time to really show what community is to you. Go out, be a part of, stand in the gap for others, and show people what community is. On that note, I want to say thank you for joining me. This is Quandra Gaines with Community Connections, Resources in Gardening. Have a wonderful, safe holiday weekend. And next week, have a prosperous week, a prosperous and intentional week. Goodbye.